All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Village Board meeting for Monday, September 9th. It's 6 p.m., and we're here in the Village Hall Boardroom. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Trustee Wojcik, I think you have the land acknowledgement tonight. Would you please offer that up?
I'd love to. Before we begin this evening, we would like to recognize the Seneca Nation on whose ancestral territory we are gathering. The present-day village of Fairport sits on traditional Seneca land. The Seneca Nation, with the Mohawk, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, and Tuscarora, make up the sovereign Haudenosaunee Confederacy. With respect, we acknowledge the people of the Seneca Nation on whose land we now live. We honor their past, present, and future contributions to and stewardship of this land.
Thank you. Megan, would you take roll call, please?
Trustee Wojcik,
Here.
Trustee Bonaski,
Evening.
Trustee Mishler,
Here.
Trustee Briggs,
Here.
Mayor Dameretz,
Here.
and Liana Pasantes.
Student Advisory Council member. Thanks for being here tonight. Tonight's Liana's first night here with us. We're glad to have you here. Welcome. Okay, with that, we will move into the Citizens Forum. So I'm going to grab that list, and just a reminder to everybody that you have 5 minutes or less to speak. Please keep it under there. And that we will be respectful of each other as well as the board members during this opportunity that you have to comment. And let me grab the list. Or, if you want, do you want to read it off, or I can grab it? Whichever you want to do. I'll let you take care of it. We'll give you a talking part tonight.
Joseph Thon, 11 West Street.
So if you just come up and please state your name and your address again, and then go ahead and share your comment with the board.
I've got a handout for you guys.
Okay.
Thank you. My name is Joe Thone. I live at 11 West Street. I'm a real estate broker and investor. I own 24 properties in Rochester, in Monroe County, several in Fairport. The village is already lacking in resources and infrastructure to police and monitor how owners conduct business on their properties. Blanket ADU approval across all non-single-family residential zoning will create a big loophole for investors. What will happen when investors find out they can convert a former single-family zoned home into an apartment building with 2 or 3 units without applying for variance? Proposing changes to the code to make sure more properties are, quote, in compliance doesn't necessarily mean it will improve the code. Developers, real estate investors from across the state, and local investors like me will realize Fairport has no regulations in these new districts. Savvy developers are less invested in Fairport and will be able to purchase any home in the village, chop it up into apartments, convert the basement, the attic, the second floor, the carriage house into an ADU with relative ease. When I evaluate properties, I create an expense and income spreadsheet. It's kind of like a cap rate formula. This formula tells me how much money I could purchase a home for given the income it will generate. The more units, the more money, the more I can buy the house for, the higher the price. Which type of buyers do you think investors will price out of that market? My guess is first-time home buyers and families looking to move into Fairport. Investors are not interested in providing affordable missing middle housing. They are here to make a profit. I know, because I am one. Case in point, how is the old Crossman site performing? Look at who owns that property. You can expect commercial properties like that and larger residential properties to get picked up by foreign investors. Personally, not something I see as a net benefit to the village. I know I'm a little bit early because the zoning committee is still meeting, I think, on the 19th, but a few big questions that I had still remain. One is, can the village infrastructure accommodate growth from our current population of 5,500 to like 7,500 or 10,000? I don't know if there's a goal number we're trying to reach. Will there be any enforcement or code implemented for short-term rentals and Airbnbs? Will we be creating a new department outside of the Building and Code Enforcement Office, or just hiring more staff to support Mark? It's Mark, right? I think it's Mark. Does the board understand how potential rezoning will discourage the creation of missing middle housing and encourage the creation of investment properties for real estate investors? I've included further questions in your handout. I'm going to skip those. I'm going to end with this. My name is Joe Thone. I grew up in Penfield, with a town without a village. I live at 11 West Street with my pregnant wife and 3 children. Julie, Adam, and Heidi on campaign. You guys came to my house. You knocked on my door. You asked me, hey, how can I help? What do you want to see changed? And I thought that was great. I thought you guys are passionate people. You care about Fairport. You're going to, do what's in our best interest. And I voted for you guys. So I feel like that says a lot. But I want to trust you guys, but the plan that I'm seeing, it's leaving me pretty concerned. It benefits a small number of investors, potential investors, and not a lot of neighbors and village residents. You guys have the ability, capacity, and vision to develop innovative solutions to these concerns. The village needs you to listen to those who voted you into office and those who didn't vote for you. In time, I think this plan will not benefit the village and its residents, but I think it will cater to the whims of investors and developers. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm just going to clarify for
Yes.
anybody who's curious. We still haven't even heard the comments that were made. There is no plan in front of us.
Right.
We're just working from the comments that were made back in the May, June timeframe.
Right.
They
And
haven't.
there was the May update to the comprehensive plan. That's kind of where I was going with all that stuff.
There wasn't a May update to the comprehensive plan. There was a survey that was conducted to get people's feedback.
Oh, okay.
So that's not an update to the comprehensive plan.
I just know that talks are ongoing. So
Okay.
I wanted to voice
I
the
just wanna
concern as they're
sure.
making their decisions. I
Sure.
think they need to really,
We're not at any decision-making,
I
so I
understand.
just want to satisfy
understand.
that we're not making any decisions.
right.
We haven't even heard the comments yet. So
Yeah.
the next step after the comments
Yes.
is to take and do a first draft and then put it out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This is all in the communication plan.
Yep. I've read it. Yeah, I've read it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's no plan at this point in time. We haven't even heard the comments yet. So before we put the cart in front of the horse,
We are,
I just
because we're
I
concerned.
just want you, and I understand we
Yeah.
are listening to your concerns.
Awesome. That's
Thank you.
what we're asking. Thanks.
Not to the comprehensive plan. Sure. He just made a statement that there was an update to the comprehensive plan. I was clarifying that there were no changes to the comprehensive plan that the board approved in 2021. That's all. Thank you. I appreciate your comments, and so does the rest of the board. Megan, who do we have next?
Bob Ames, 89 Dewey.
Good evening. I'm Bob Ames, and I live at 89 Dewey Avenue. Yesterday, I visited 8 homes of young families on my street. They either have children in our school district right now, or a couple of them are families whose children just recently graduated. All of them stated that they were very aware of the proposed changes to the zoning code, all of them, and they're following the issue very closely. all of them happen to be opposed to any changes. A couple of those people are here tonight, and others are busy with their families. Several asked when the results of the survey would become available to village residents. And I asked the same question.
Sure.
Was just commented on. So, we need to listen to young families in Fairport. We all know that they are our future. Whatever changes are made, they're going to have to live with them a lot longer than I will have to live with them. Some have lived in Fairport, some were raised in Fairport, some are former Fairport students. One is a Fairport, one was one of my students, it turns out. And others moved here by their own choice. So let's be sure to listen to their opinions. Let's be sure to listen to all of our opinions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh. Thanks, Bob. Who do you have next on your list, Megan?
Brent Lons, 7 Beardsley Street.
Good evening. I'm Brent Long from 7 Beardsley Street. I know there's been some discussion already about this this update to the zoning. My only comments to that is understanding there's no decision being made or anything like that. We're still working through that, but just from an environmental standpoint, just want to more of a question. Is this going through a full environmental impact statement process through the seeker process, or just making sure that there's short form and long form environmental assessment forms, but is the village taking on as lead agency, or is there a third party who's going to be reviewing those environmental impacts? So didn't have a lot to say, but just wanted to put it out there.
We do seeker with all of our different, whether we create resolutions or update our code. So absolutely, there will be a seeker. We are so far away from there.
Yep.
But I assure you, there will be a seeker done.
Yeah.
We are the lead agency. It's our code update.
Okay, just want to make sure. And is there any possibility that's going to go into an environmental impact statement with a full report on all of the difference? You don't know yet.
We
But
don't know yet,
at least
'cause we
I just
don't have
wanted to- Yeah, I
anything.
just wanted to bring it up and at least made it aware.
Sure.
That's what I'm thinking.
Sure.
So, all right.
Thank you.
David Stites, 11 West Church Street.
Mayor, trustees, you ran on transparency. I voted for transparency. I voted for integrity. I've watched views shut down that challenge your own, dialogue shut down, peer review shut down. This is not about whether I or my spouse or my neighbor or my enemy agrees with a bike lane, a parking spot, a tree, or a slice of pizza. At a recent meeting, you shut down your colleague, an elected official who wanted to speak. Maybe she was speaking for me, maybe she wasn't. It doesn't matter. I don't care. What matters is that I watched an elected official's voice be silenced. And now that exchange is missing from the minutes. I ask that it be added in, and at least it will be recorded here. Truth matters, voice matters. We are all neighbors, not parties. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Megan, who's next? Okay. Sure, Bob.
My apologies, I wasn't going to say anything. Bob Cantwell, 3 Fifth Ave. Just a couple of questions and comments. I do kind of come bearing good news this evening because I think I've found the missing middle that we've been talking about in terms of housing in the code update. I took the time today to, in the past couple of months, there's been comments made about the fact that Fairport and the village itself is not isolated from the town of Parenton. We're all one town, whether it's the school district or zip codes or any of that kind of stuff. We identify much larger than simply the village. So relative to the zoning code update, and my comments tonight are simply to reinforce the hope that the consultant would similarly explore what I'm about to say in terms of truly identifying and approaching the available and existing housing around the village, not just the village itself, when they are considering changes, potential changes, as well as to you in the working group as well. So what I did is I just went back to the comprehensive plan and did have some statistics relative to the percentage of types of housing in the village. Out of the 2,562 homes in the village at that time in 2020, 70% were detached single family. That's 1,810 units. The rest of that 752 total units included duplexes, 3 to 4 unit residences, multifamily, and townhouses. So again, that's what adds up to the 2,562. So that's just the village itself. If you grow, I know there has been other residents that have commented about the adjacent, existing adjacent residential properties that also are quote unquote within walkable distance to the village, as we promote ourselves as being walkable. Without getting into the specific numbers, I'm just going to tell you that there's another 1,938 units north, south, east, and west that border the village that are all either literally bordering the village or are within walking distance and certainly connected via the canal trail. So as it relates to those total number of units, there's essentially a 2,500 plus or minus total multifamily, townhouse, all of the formula and definition of missing middle housing that currently exists today. And that's compared to 25 single-family homes. So it's 50-50 as far as so again, I don't believe that there's a missing middle. And so I hope that, with regard to other people's comments this evening, that we are truly defining what that missing middle actually is and what we're trying to achieve with that. But I believe that we have that opportunity and diversity of housing opportunities for people to comply with that box. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think that is the last name that we had on Citizens Forum. And at 6:18, I will go ahead and close Citizens Forum. And we'll move on to the regular agenda. And with the awareness that we have a supplemental agenda that has 3 items on it that will get inserted after item number 7. So with that, all right, so we're going to take care of these minutes approvals. The first one, Heidi, you were not here for. The second one, I was not here for, and I think everybody was here for number 3. So I need a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of July 29th, 2024 village board work session.
So moved. Trustee Mishler.
Second, Trustee Banowski.
Any questions or comments? With that, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? And anyone abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
Okay, that will carry unanimously and with 1 abstention. Did I say that right? I said it wrong, sorry. No, you didn't. Okay. Item number 2 is a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of August 12th, 2024 village board meeting.
So moved. Trustee Wyka.
Second, Trustee Briggs.
Any questions about those meeting minutes? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And any abstentions? I'm abstaining. So that will carry forward with 4 positive votes and 1 abstention. And then item number 3 is a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of August 26th, 2024, village board work session.
So moved, trustee Mishler.
Second, trustee,
Second, trustee Briggs.
Okay, any questions or comments? All in favor?
Oh, I have some comments. I didn't realize Dave was going to speak, but residents have been reaching out to me stating that the meeting minutes do not accurately reflect everything that took place during that meeting. I believe in transparency, and I just want to validate for the residents that I've heard your concerns. Let me explain the process as I understand it. The full agenda and the meeting minutes are the official record for that meeting. The recording is supplemental and not required, more of a courtesy to our residents. Discussion of the art murals and best practices was not on the agenda. I requested, firmly implied, that the art murals be explained to the board and the public at our work session because concerned residents have been asking questions about the Village of Fairport's decision-making practices. In my ask, I never mentioned the word agenda. By the way, since taking office, I've made several requests in writing for items to be included on the agenda for public discussion, and they have all been denied. I still don't believe an elected official can be denied an opportunity to address the residents. But at that point in the meeting, when I realized it wasn't on the agenda, I should have made a motion to speak to the topic. And if it had been seconded, the board would have had a conversation, but I did not do that. And when the mayor made a motion to go to executive session, strategically, that action trumps all other motions that would have been on the table. So even if I did have a motion to speak to the art murals, I would not have been able to speak anyway. Going to executive session wasn't on the agenda either. So this is like my public service announcement to clarify the actions that occurred at our last meeting. It is my hope that this explanation will be documented in this meeting's minutes. I am also making an official request to have the village policies and decisions around the art murals being added to an agenda, a future agenda. I don't think it should just go away, but now I've made that ask, that it be on the agenda to have a discussion. I am a work in progress. I am learning every day, and I thank you for your patience. Thank you.
I'll clarify something for you there, Tracy. The work session meeting is for us to do our work, not necessarily to give a speech for people who are in the audience or watching. It would have been something that you would have been discussing with the
us,
rest of the
and
board
that was
members.
exactly what I asked,
Okay,
to have a discussion in public
Okay.
about that.
Can I also just add something that I'm unsure of? We did have executive session right that evening. It was on the agenda.
It was not on the agenda.
Was it? It was a supplemental agenda?
Nope.
Okay. I was under the impression we did have I'm just for my own clarification.
I went back and looked. It wasn't on there.
Okay.
We're splitting hairs, but again, I'm trying, I'm learning. It wasn't on the
I
agenda.
think if you look in your email, there was a notification that we were going to have an executive session to discuss a particular document. But
I'll have to-
we can,
That's- I mean, that's
this
minimal.
is,
I just
this
was
is really
curious.
not
Yeah.
worth.
I said we're splitting hairs, but I
Right.
believe in transparency. And as I said, it's been concerns that have been brought to me that I feel I needed to explain the situation the best of my knowledge.
So this has been put on the next work session, the policies for adding art, correct? We will have this on the next agenda?
Well, when we
Yeah,
go through,
yeah.
when we go through the work session agenda at the end of September, it's another item to add on. to the agenda.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So can I have, are we done with discussion of that particular item? All right. Can I have all in favor? Wait, go ahead.
Just, I think actually one of our residents requested that we just update the meetings to reflect, I guess, just some of that confusion, right? So I don't know, how would we document that?
It's a document of what happened in that meeting. This will be noted in this particular meeting, but that meeting is, what's the story,
Okay,
John?
so that is correct. So the discussion that was had tonight will be reflected in this meeting's minutes as was described by Trustee Briggs, but the minutes of that meeting, so long as they accurately reflect the business that was undertaken at that meeting, can be approved as drafted.
That's how I understand it, too.
So with that, all in favor of approval of these meeting minutes?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be done and unanimously carried, which will take us to the new business part of our agenda. Item number 1 is a motion by the village board to authorize Clifford Street residents to close the street for their annual block party on Saturday, October 5th, 2024, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Rain date will be Sunday, October 6th, 2024, from 1 p.m. till 6 p.m. Barricades will be provided for a block area of Clifford Street between 5th Street and Nelson Street. Access to the street must be maintained for residents and emergency vehicles.
So moved.
By Trustee Mishler.
Second, Trustee Banowski?
Okay. Any questions or concerns? I saw the letter from Wendy.
I'm wishing them nice weather for their block party.
Hopefully better than what's going on right now. With that, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. Item number 2 is a motion by the village board to authorize the Town of Perrington Recreation and Parks Department to hold the annual Halloween parade on Friday, October 25th, starting at 6 p.m. The parade will begin at Joanna Perrin Middle School parking lot and travel down Potter Place, ending at Potter Memorial Park. Potter Place will be closed for traffic for the duration of the parade. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
By Trustee Mishler,
Second.
by Trustee Wojka. Any questions about the Halloween parade?
I think in the past, we've either had the police or a fire engine or something there for the kids when they get down. Will they be there? Okay, just to make sure they're still there. Kids love fire trucks.
Do we know how long we've been doing this? A very long time.
I mean, since I was growing up here.
Since you were a youngin'?
Do you have your costume picked out for this year, Adam?
That's still in committee.
Okay. So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous as well. Item number 3 is a motion to appoint Madeline Lucas as a substitute crossing guard for the term of 9/9/2024 through 12/31/2024.
So moved.
By Trustee Briggs,
Second, Trustee Banowski?
is this the first time for Madeline? Okay, that's great. Somebody new joining the crossing guard group.
She's doing a super job already, I can tell you that.
Oh.
We cross there every day.
Is it only for the 3 months, or at the beginning of the year, we would then,
Yeah,
Up everybody
everybody, they're
up.
all on the same term, the
Okay.
calendar year term, so, back in January again.
we'll see Madeline in January? Okay.
Do we know where she will, her crosswalk will be? Do we know which location
Sounds
she'll be
like
at?
she's at
Where-
Hulbert.
she's-
The Hulbert at Brooks Hill.
Okay. That's where she's needed the most.
Okay.
Thank you, Madeline.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? welcome Madeline. And we're looking forward to having you helping as a crossing guard from September until December of this year. All right, item number 4 is a motion by the village board to accept the August 2024 financial statements for the Village of Fairport and the Fairport Municipal Commission.
So moved.
By trustee Briggs,
Second, trustee Mishler.
anything of note, Megan, that we should, anything exciting?
Yeah, I mean, our sales tax came in, it was comparable to the year before, no huge swings, but we expected that. And then they sent the additional AIM aid to
Okay.
us
Great.
in August. Nobody knew what it was because everything else comes in September, but yeah, we got that this month
Great.
as well. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, they sent the remittance notice 5 days later, so.
What happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
They got the check and then 5 days later got the explanation of the check.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from the board? Thank you for the work that you do, Megan. You make these reports easy to read and understand. We appreciate it. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous, which takes us to a motion by the village board to authorize the payment of audited bills.
So moved.
By trustee Wojka.
Now, see, I got it wrong last time, so now I'm hesitating. I have reviewed the bills and have found things to be in order.
Second it.
Second.
Second at first.
Is it that first and then that, and then we do
Yes.
the?
Yeah.
There we go.
That's okay. Heidi was away when we came up with this wording, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. No, I just forgot already.
I have
I reviewed the bills and found them
to be in order.
to be in order. Thank you, Emily.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
But
the
you have
motion
reviewed
made,
them
the
and you
motion
have
was
found them to
made
be
by
in order.
trustee Wojka and seconded by trustee Benonsky. Any questions, concerns, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. Item number 6 is a motion by the village board to amend the previously approved amount of $60,000 to pay health and dental insurance premiums paid in the month of September to $49,887.63.
So moved.
By trustee Briggs.
Second, trustee Badowski.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. And then,
Can I interrupt for just 1 second?
Sure.
I was just thinking, when we review the audited bills, you know how each month it has the amount of compost that's been collected by the village? Is there any way we could just like every month just report on that so village residents know how much they're actually saving in tipping fees? And
For sure.
it's, I mean, I know it's reported on that one receipt. Would we be able to do that? Just to report out when
looking
we
like
do
a-
the bills, like how much each month,
How do you want us to
the
report
weight,
it out?
like the weight of compost that's collected each month.
So like amount that's diverted
yeah.
from the landfill.
Yeah,
Well, I think the question is, Grant just wants to know how we're gonna
How do you wanna
communicate
I
that.
think the
that out.
weight of compost that's collected.
No, what mechanism? Do you want to do it here when you're in the village board meeting, or what do you, I'm just trying to clarify what you're
I'm sorry.
asking.
I was just maybe thinking at this point, when we do the audited bills,
Okay.
like it, because that's where it shows
makes
up,
sense.
when in the audited bills.
Yeah.
so when the
seems-
bill comes in,
Yeah.
because you guys
We
wouldn't,
can do that.
you wouldn't necessarily
it, we
write
don't.
this, but when the bill comes in, if we can just add the amount that was composted to the,
Yeah.
as a note.
I like it.
I always looked for it when I was doing it and was curious.
Okay, now I have a
Okay.
question. So we have, making up numbers, so we have 50 pounds of composting. How does that relate to the tipping fees and money saved?
Can I answer that?
Sure.
So our taxpayers are charged or billed on the amount of refuse that is collected
Right.
at the dump. And when it's heavy, right, it obviously costs more.
understand.
So when we're diverting compost, which is excessively heavy organic matter, we're actually diverting a lot of weight into the tipping fees.
I know, I was just looking for an equation that would
There's
say
not an equation.
$30, or if you pay 1 ton at this,
It's-
we dropped it here, you're actually
It's
saving that.
because there are a
know
couple
if we have
factors
that.
that play into how we get charged back for tipping fees. And then there's the factor of what it costs to do the composting. It's not clean cut like 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 + 1 = 2.5, maybe 3, maybe 1.5.
That's accurate, but just the short answer of that would just be, it's about $65 a ton for waste that goes into the landfill. So any tonnage, every 2,000 pounds is $65 in tipping fees you don't pay. But to the mayor's point, there's a lot of other factors that go into that because you're still paying for the cost of that, but that's an easy explanation.
Yep, I got it. When, her question I saw was 2 parts. It was a savings on tipping fee and awesome that we're diverting.
Yeah.
I just saw that as 2 different things.
I think it's easier to report back how much gets diverted than to give you the exact dollar amount of.
Just clarifying.
Yeah. So,
Well, and the amount that we divert is on that receipt that you
Yep.
audited, which is
Yep.
what.
I think that's what Emily
Okay.
was looking for.
That's what I was, okay, sorry about that.
Okay. That will take us to item number 7, a motion by the village board to authorize the clerk treasurer to pay health and dental insurance premiums for the month of October, an initial estimated amount not to exceed $60,000, subject to audit and amending authorization for the village board at the regularly scheduled October meeting.
So moved, trustee Mishler.
Second,
Trustee
trustee Briggs.
Second, trustee Wyko.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? That will take us to the supplemental agenda, which is, item number 1 is a motion by the village board to enter the supplemental agenda, agreement 1 to D040761 for Fairport Main Street Enhancement Program.
So moved.
By Mishler.
Second, trustee Banowski.
Okay, and I think we have a letter that explains that? No.
So if I understand what this is, it's basically as projects move forward, anticipated costs versus actual costs, depending on what you're spending it on, changes. And when you move some things from one anticipated bucket to another, there's like a Form A, B, AC .25 that you have to all fill out, and that's basically what we're doing here.
Yes.
Correct. It's a glorified budget amendment that's associated with grants and so forth. So in this scenario, when we received the grant, there was estimates that were put in place for various line items associated with the streetscape project and that sort of thing. In this scenario, doing right-of-way engineering, instead of it being about $18,000, which was the initial estimate from that, it's about $75,000. So the design, the work, the project all stays the same. It's just we're diverting the difference between $75,000 and $18,000 that's being taken away from the construction amounts to pay for that extra additional engineering work. And then this process requires that you re-execute a grant with the new numbers in it. So that's what you see before you today.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
Clear to everybody? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous, and then that will take us to a resolution by the village board authorizing the implementation and funding of the state Marchicelli, did I say that right? Program Aid Eligible Transportation Federal Aid Project to fully fund the local share of the federal and state aid eligible and ineligible costs and appropriating funds therefor. Can I, by trustee Mishler?
Second, trustee Briggs.
And this is the re-execution of the grant now that those 2 figures were adjusted.
Correct.
Any questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that will carry unanimously as well. And then item number, I'm sorry, what? Oh, you're sneaking words there to confuse me. Item number 3 is a motion by the village board to enter into a federal aid local project agreement D041008 for Fairport Main Street Enhancement Project.
So moved.
By trustee Briggs,
Second?
by trustee Waika. And what is the role of this? So we re-entered the agreement.
So, yeah, this is a brand-new agreement that wraps up everything that we just did. So the first one being the supplemental agreement is just saying, hey, this is what we need to do in order to do the engineering work. The second one was actually revising for the budget amendment for this agreement. And the third being, hey, we're wrapping all that up into the final project agreement, which gives it a new code, that D041,
Okay.
which is different.
Now that's as clear as on this
Paperwork.
piece of paper.
The first one was us agreeing we had to do it. The second one saying, okay, let's do it. And the third one is doing it.
The new code.
Yep. With that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? And that will be unanimous as well. And that takes us back to the regular agenda. So we can go through announcements and committee reports. Trustee Woika, do you have anything that you wanted to report?
Goodness, that's loud. No, just that school's back in session, so please make sure that you're stopping for school buses when they are stopped. Be aware there's a lot of small children and not so small children around, but just be aware, be safe. That's all I got.
Adam, anything you wanted to add?
Tree board meeting in 2 days.
Okay. Where is that meeting held and at what time?
Here in this room, I believe it's at 7:30. Let me double check my calendar here just to make sure. 7 o'clock, sorry.
Okay.
On Wednesday, Adam?
Yes, on the 11th.
Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Mishler.
I'm thrilled to have Liana Pasantes here. We had a hiatus from having a student representative for the last few months, and it just feels good to have one of our youth here. I think it's mutually beneficial. I think you'll find it will be mutually beneficial. We learn from you, and hopefully you'll learn a lot of good practices from us as well. So we're thrilled to have you. We had an art installation in the village on Saturday. It is called the Beacon.
Michael Rogers.
Michael Rogers, thank you. Really well-known artist, Michael Rogers, actually lives in Hunye Falls, was the artist on that project, and he was there with his wife to unveil the new sculpture. It's at the Bicentennial Park down here on the directionally challenged, thank you,
Southwest Bank.
Southwest Bank. It looks fantastic. And I thought this is sort of anecdotal, but I thought this was kind of neat. The artist is hoping that people refer to it as a meeting spot. So meet me at the Beacon. He wants people to start using that phrase. And if you're meeting friends and family in Fairport, he thinks this would be a great meeting spot. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then we have Oktoberfest coming up, which is something we all very much look forward to. Thursday, September 26th is the start of that, and that runs all the way through Saturday, the 28th. There's a whole ton of events, as our Fairport residents know, that take place that weekend. The Plein Air Festival, I think you're probably going to touch on that, though, right?
That's okay, you're on a roll.
Oh, okay. The Plein Air Festival is this outdoor painting program that happens in our village. There's going to be artists scattered all throughout the village, set up with their easels. The painting, I think, takes place from 9 to 1 throughout the village. And then their creations are going to be displayed at Faircraft for sale. So that's a fun event. And then the fire department's open house is Saturday too, the 28th. So there's a lot going on. Scarecrow Festival too, there's so much. The fire department's open from 10 to 2 on Saturday. So that's exciting. I thank you all for being here. I thank you for coming to Citizens Forum and sharing your worries, even if that's what they are, worries. And the board is listening and we hear you, and I just appreciate it. So thanks. That's all.
Trustee Briggs?
I'll just elaborate a little. The art committee will be meeting this Thursday, so I should have full report, but obviously getting the sculpture here and getting the artist here before he goes back to Europe was very exciting. A very famous international artist. It was quite an honor. Oktoberfest, that Thursday is Senior Citizens Night, so it's catered to senior citizens and bringing in the senior citizens and serving them, and you know, a bunch of volunteers will get them their food and all of that. So it's really, that's opening night for.
That's from 4 to 10, right, on Thursday?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's their focus.
Okay.
And then on Saturday, the Oktoberfest will be no admission till 4 o'clock. Again, family-friendly event with the vendors and the musics and the foods because of the Scarecrow Fest and the plein air and the fire department. So that's a day where the village is really alive. And I do believe that for the first time in many years, Village Hall will be having a Scarecrow Fest. Thank you, Jean, for signing us up. So I think that'll be wonderful.
This is so exciting, really.
So we will be out there as
Tell
a
everybody
village
to
board.
vote for the Village Hall Scarecrow.
They are voting again because there are prizes. And this year, the merchants decided to go with just paper ballots, that the QR codes and all of that, they felt they weren't getting the participation that they wanted. So voting on your favorite Scarecrow will be old school. You get to fill it out right there at the event space. Plein air is that will also be going on that day. That's supported with a grant from OSED and they get that through the New York canals to incorporate arts into the canal system. So I want to give a shout out that OSED definitely gets a grant for that. And plein air is a very specific style of painting. It's French for being outside, so the artists all come and they have that 9 to 1 to create their entire painting. It's not, they can scope out spots, but it really is fresh immediately in that day. It's outside, it's drawing what you see, it's realism. So it's a very niche market it's a very specific type of painting. So that should be really exciting this year. And we also, we've got the shuttle bus for the artists that day. So they will be shuttled around with their gear and they'll be able to get back and forth because it's a very busy time, and that was kind of a concern of the artists, that it was like, where do you park? There's people everywhere and scarecrows and all of that. So they're going to have a special code in a shuttle bus to get them to and from. So that's a great service that we're able to offer now that we have the grant.
That's great.
So that's it. A lot going on.
Okay. I attended the Office of Community and Economic Development meeting from August 19th. And a few highlights from that. Facade grants, there was a completion by Tony Pitnero on North Main Street. So he was the recipient of a facade grant, and he's just about completed his project at that time. There is a memorial that's going to be constructed on the north side of the canal with a bronze plaque honoring Thomas X. Grasso. It'll be, and OSED is part of the supporting group. He's a Monroe County resident who passed away, who did a lot of work to engage the community with the canal. And in fact, he was at our ribbon cutting on May 22nd in 2023. Got to think back which year it was. But he has since passed away, so there will be a memorial that is being constructed along the canal. And OSED is part of the sponsors for that. It's plein air that you all went through. The Thomas Creek Wetlands Entrance Project is substantially complete. The work was to redesign parking by also making sure that they were aware of any truck traffic that makes it down to the end of the street to make it a little bit safer, easier to park, and a little bit safer for those people on bikes and pedestrians who are entering the path at that end of the end of Liftbridge Lane East. And
Pedestrian flags.
I'm sorry.
Our pedestrian flags are up.
Yeah, I'll let you can go ahead and talk about that. We'll go back to Trustee Mishler, and I'll see if there's anything else I need to update you with.
If anyone's
OSED.
been walking on Main Street, you might have noticed some orange See Me flags. They are located right on Main Street by the crosswalk, the mid-block crosswalk by the library. So they're pedestrian flags that you would carry across the street just to create some more visibility for pedestrians. And there might be a resident in the room that might have been supporting that. Just a shout out.
And I can say that the village manager and I were walking north on Main Street and saw somebody using one of the flags the other day last week. Go ahead,
Great.
Trustee Briggs.
I just want to say thank you. The plaque for Main Street Park looks fabulous. It does, and that went up really fast, and it looks great, and you've cleaned up that area, and I love the,
Looks great.
welcoming with the benches and the flowers. It does, it really looks good. But that plaque was I love it.
Okay. I think that's going to take us back to the agenda unless we have any additional ads from this end of the board. All right, so that's going to take us to the upcoming board meetings. Our next village board work session will be Thursday, October 3rd, 2024 at 6 p.m. in this room. Our next regular village board meeting will be Tuesday, October 15th at 6 p.m. in this room as well. All meetings are held at Fairport Village Hall, 31 South Main Street, Fairport, New York, on the second floor boardroom. And from here, I'm going to entertain a motion to enter executive session. What will happen is, for anyone who's not been to a meeting, we will go into executive session. The broadcast will stop. When we finish our executive session, we will come back out and adjourn the meeting. There will be no additional activity. What? Oh, okay. We don't usually have any additional work, so thanks. Sorry about that. There may be, depending on the executive session, one last item that the board votes on. So there. Do we need anything else? Am I missing anything?
That's it.
Okay, then I'm going to ask for a motion by the village board to enter executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular individual and to have discussions regarding proposed, pending, or current litigation.
So moved.
By Trustee Mishler.
Second, Trustee Banowski.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? We are going to executive session. There may be one item that we come back for. It will not be broadcast because we're going to end the broadcast right now. If you wish to sit and stay, you are welcome to. However, the intention of the board is to take care of that, and then we'll be adjourning the meeting. So if you're not here, have a wonderful evening, and we appreciate you all coming this evening.
Thank you.